I'm Hannah.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we're putting our runner instincts to the test with a little game we're calling Riskin It for the Biscuit. Every runner's faced those pre-race temptations. From wearing something brand new on race day that you found at the expo, to skipping your warm-up because the corrals are packed, or eating that questionable spicy dinner the night before. We'll be deciding which running gambles are worth the risk, and which ones could totally crumble under race day pressure. Let's just see how bold we're feeling today. So, lace up your shoes, decide which biscuits you're risking it for, and step into the magic with us. So remember at my wedding how we did our we went to every table and took a picture with every single
Yes.
table.
Mm-hmm.
And we played the Benny Hill theme song. That's about all that's going through my head right now. It's marathon week. So I feel like my brain is just a constant state of the Benny Hill theme song.
I hear the chicken dance.
You know,
I know that's not the
column
song, but I feel like it's the same vibe.
yes, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B here, where you asking me to focus long term on something. It's just, you just hear chaos in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, it's race week.
At least I'm the one who's sick, not you. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I got at Costco. I got this thing of emergency packets that the little pixie stick things.
Mm-hmm.
They're really tasty. Basically,
I'll
I
have
thought
to
it was
try them.
I thought it was almost like a water add-in, but it wasn't. It's no water needed. It's like a little tiny pixie stick.
Wild.
Yeah, it tastes really good too. But I've been definitely amping up the airborne, good up in the vitamin C.
As soon as I started feeling any sort of way, which was on Thursday last week, I started having this intense urge to cough, and that was it. And I was still naive enough to think that it was allergies.
Oh yeah.
It's not. But I texted my mom about it, and I even went and got a COVID and flu test at CVS during my lunch break because I was like, but she immediately messaged me. She's like, maybe start taking some emergency. I was like, I feel like at this point I'm doomed. So, but I did. I took some. I don't think it's doing anything for me, but
Well, I think it kind of will help replenish the immune system when it just blows over.
So I apologize to listeners if I sound particularly husky, raspy, whatever,
Husky was not the word I was expecting. I was like, yeah, it's just one of those days. I think I really want the whining about the weather to be replaced with the whining about the winter weather, because it is too late in the year for it to be this dang hot.
It is. It truly is. I saw across my Facebook feed today that there's a weatherman that I follow in Florida. Not at home. Just because I really like his particular coverage of hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
He's very level-headed about it all, not sensationalizing, not downplaying, just very middle of the road about it. And he posted a photo of the whole country, and he's like, the Midwest is hotter than Florida.
Oh,
and I was like, no, not for Natalie. I immediately went and checked my weather, and it definitely is looking a little hotter than ideal, but there's supposed to be rain this week. So, I'm hoping I'm gonna do a little rain dance for you like I did for my sister's wedding, hoping the rain happens a little later in the week and you get that temperature drop for race day.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. And obviously it could be so much worse. It could be so much worse. Like, right, I'm looking at a high of like 70 right now.
Mhm.
But noting that I also won't start till 8:30, 8:45. We're gonna hit that like hottest part of the day and still might be running. So obviously it is what it is. And I can't change it. I can hope for the best. I can modify slightly as needed. But um I'm saying this as a very level-headed response. What has been going through my brain throughout the day, the weekend, the days, has not been quite so level-headed because it's
Mm-mm.
like, dang, like what am I gonna do? Like,
Tell
like,
the people about your compression boot adventure because
oh
she's
yeah,
full on lost it, people. Full on. She's fine. She thinks she is overcooked, but she's fine.
yes. So I was feral over the weekend and was like, if I look at Costco to get those compression boots, they're all out of stock online, and plus they wouldn't have shipped quickly enough anyway. And then I'm like looking at the different like really fancy like compression boot things. I'm like, I could maybe overnight them. I'm like, no. And then I'm like, okay, that even if I overnight it, like it probably won't get here until like the day I leave. Okay, how helpful is that going to be? And then I finally settle on I look up and I do find somewhere in Omaha where there's a bunch of different types of like therapies that you could do. It's like a cryotherapy place,
Mhm.
but they have the boots. And on Sunday, I went and I booted. I bought some more sessions to use both throughout the week before I leave, and then also once I come back. And I think me and this place are gonna be friends. But it was nice. I just sat there. I vegged out. I vibed. I sat there in pain, both at my fantasy football team
Mm.
and at the boots, but I definitely feel better. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like there's this heaviness like in my legs in a way that I feel like I usually don't have this close, but I trained a lot harder. So we'll see what happens, and I'm hoping the boots like my massage gun that I do have at home is like working in overdrive. Um every different little like head for the massage gun has been used in different ways trying to like massage out the legs, but you know, we'll see. But yeah, we have gone full like nonsense. Like you'd think I was an Olympic hopeful with the way I am like going hard in the paint here of like should have done this, like should have done that. Like okay, like settle down. Because I want to make sure I keep the experience obviously fun. Like it is a unique experience that I'll have either which way. But yeek. Yeah, we're spiraling a little bit. But love that I was able to find this place because it's not too far from where I live, not too far from where I work as well. So it'll be nice, and I am curious to try out like cryotherapy, not like race week, but I am interested to try it out at some point, or like they have a bunch of different little gizmos and gadgets and stuff, and before I then make the full plunge into buying my own
Mhm.
boots.
Yeah. Speaking of trying things the week of a race, that's what we're talking about this week. We're talking about things you would do to risk it for the biscuit. But first, we have our countdowns. We have 16 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2025. Your Tuesday, Thursday training is 30 minutes if you are not running the challenge, and 30 to 45 if you are. We are in training week 9 for the 5K with 3.5 miles for your long run. We are in week 15 for the 10K with 6.5 miles for your long run. Week 16 for the half and challenge, 14 miles across the board for your long run. But if you are doing the challenge, you have a back to back. So 5 miles on Saturday and 14 on Sunday. It is peak week, people. You got this. We have 92 days until Marathon Weekend 2026. 30 minutes for the 10K, half, and marathon, 30 to 45 for Goofy, and 45 minutes for Dopey. 5K, you have not joined the chat yet. We are in week 4 for the 10K with a 30-minute long run. Week 5 for the half. Beginner half has a 5-mile long run, and experienced half has a 3-mile long run. We are in week 15 for marathon, Goofy, and Dopey. Beginner marathon has a 3-mile long run, experienced marathon has a 4-mile long run, and Goofy and Dopey both have 3-mile long runs. This is the last 3-mile cutback. We have 114 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026. 30 minutes for not the challenge and 30 to 45 if you are during the week. It is training week 1 for the 10K. Woo, woo, woo.
Woo.
Tiny little golf clap. You have a 1.5-mile long run this weekend. We are in week 2 for the half and challenge. Beginner half has a 3-mile long run. Experienced half has a 4-mile long run. And challenge also has a 4-mile long run. We have 142 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2026. And 191 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026, with a proof of time deadline of January 5th, 2026. Natalie, would you grace us with our Disney news segment?
Oh, I'd love to. You know what I'd also love to do is go over marathon weekend medals, but we still don't have them. Alas. Um,
We're pretty sure they're gonna get released either right
Yesterday.
before, yesterday or today, but it's fine. Come back
We'll t-
next week.
yeah, we'll talk about them next week. But what we did get was a merchandise preview for Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend. I'm loving the maroon, like burgundy vibe that we're going for here. The ears look really, really cute.
I love maroon. It is such a good color for me, if I do say so myself. I do good in rich jewel tones. Yeah, I love those ears. And I really like the it's probably the men's jacket, but it's black with all the little gray outlines on the back. I think that one's
Mhm.
really fun.
That is a good fun one. I like also that the coffee mug, they've designed it. It's got the shoe thing on there. Good
Mhm.
compliment to your business. But I like that it also is supposed to be stackable with the other
Yes.
race mugs for the year.
Yeah, so you could have a full mug stack display each season. This is a bad move for me. Don't tell Ben.
I'm looking at I kind of like how we've done a little bit or like with the I did it type shirt or like the finisher
Mhm.
shirts of like you toasted the wine and dine 10K. Or I think my very favorite is the 2-course challenge. It says winged it. That's actually really funny. And it's got fauna on there for but I think it's really funny. It's really cute.
Mhm.
Um I kind of like these leggings too.
Yeah, normally I am not into it.
I love that there's Epcot, Spaceship Earth on there. I love that there's like the sun in the clouds and I just really like the design and the patterning on there.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that pattern's really nice, and they've done it on many different pieces from the collection as a shadow kinda thing.
Yeah, I quite
I
like
don't
it.
I don't know why I can't think of what it is, but because on the winged it shirt you were talking about, they have that on the sleeves. I don't know if they have it on the other ones on the sleeves. On the 10K finisher, they have that one on the back.
It reminds me of the geodesic Spaceship Earth that they had on
Mhm.
everything for Wine and Dine last year too.
Mhm.
Like as like a nice subtle with like the vented back
Yeah.
um on the shirts. Ooh, I quite like this.
Yeah, I think they have it on just about every piece somewhere, and I'm here for it.
It'll be exciting, and then there's always stuff that, like, they don't preview, and it's like it, like, runs off the shelves, so love that. Not really, like, love that part of it, but, like, it's always interesting to see, like, what cute stuff, with, like, whatever graphic tees they do, whatever's also gonna come, but I'm, definitely pleased with what I see so far. Next piece of news, Glimmering Greenhouses is to return for the holiday season, so that's at Living with the Land, the beautiful
Mhm.
lights that they put up. They are bringing back also the behind the scenes holiday tours. So November 28th through December 30th, they'll have tours at 6, 7, and 8 p.m. and reservations open October 9th.
I wish they would extend it because, like, half the time they leave up the Christmas decorations past December anyways, which means maybe if we're lucky, maybe they'll have them still up at marathon weekend, but
Yeah, it'd be
alas.
nice. It'd be nice if they extended the tour or like
Mhm.
the behind the scenes tour, like the glimmering greenhouse version of the
Mhm.
tour, I should say. Um,
'Cause I
in
already promised Ben I would take him on the tour
mhm,
regardless, so I'd really love if the lights were still up.
yes. I believe it was like it's usually partway through marathon weekend that they like
Mhm.
or usually maybe they'll get through marathon weekend, and then by Monday night, they don't have the lights anymore.
Yeah, I feel like we went last year one day, and then the next day we went back and they were gone.
Yeah.
So it's, like, somewhere in that week.
Yeah. So, it'll be exciting. Next piece of news,
Tell
kinda
the people, tell them, tell them, tell them.
we got chicken strips.
My favorite food.
So there's 13 different sauced chicken strips that are coming to Walt Disney World in a variety of different places. And I thought that the meme they posted for this was absolutely unhinged and delightfully so. It was like my sense of humor, which is like an overlay of like so like eyeballs and lips like on a chicken
Mhm.
strip. Very funny. Check out Disney Eats, Disney Parks for it. But I'm gonna go through the list of different chicky strips we got. So we're gonna get honey buffalo chicken strips with ranch at Backlot Express in Hollywood Studios. Sweet aioli chicken strips in
Sweet
like
chili aioli. Don't leave
oh
the chili out, ma'am.
true. I can't be doing that. They're coming in a lot of places though. So the food court at All Star Movies, Landscape of Flavors at Art of Animation, the market at Caribbean Beach, Spyglass Grill at Caribbean Beach, Artist Palette at Saratoga, Roaring Fork. Oh, God, love Roaring Fork at Wilderness Lodge, Typhoon Tilly's at Typhoon Lagoon, and at Vero Beach at the market there. Who said chicken had to be savory? Not me. Because they
Not
have
Georgia.
true waffle cone chicken strips at the Beaches Pool Bar at the Grand Flow, and then also Restaurantosaurus. They'll have buffalo chicken strips at Cosmic Rays in Magic Kingdom, lemon pepper parmesan chicken strips at Pinocchio Village House.
Mhm.
There's gochujang glazed chicken strips at Captain Cook's at the Poly and Everything Pop.
Alright, well, we have another reason to go to Captain Cook's now.
Yes. They just keep getting long. Reasons keep getting longer. Jerk barbecue chicken strips with pineapple salsa. Ooh, okay.
I like
Go
that.
off.
Yay, it's gonna be at Port Orleans. Sorry, I skipped ahead.
You're good because I was like, ooh, where are these going to be? The food court at All Star Sports at both Sasagula Floatworks and Riverside Mill Court, so both at French Quarter and Riverside. At Gasparilla at the Grand Flow, and then the Mara at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Now we got some spicy aioli chicken strips at Rosie's All American Cafe at Hollywood Studios. Roasted jalapeno cheddar chicken strips at Goods Food to Go at Old Key West or Trails End Restaurant at Fort Wilderness. And we got the spicy ranch chicken strips at Contempo Cafe at the Contemporary. Citrus glazed chicken strips at Primo Piatto at Riviera. Ooh, those look good. Buffalo ranch chicken strips at the following places. These will at Lotta Wada Lounge at Blizzard Beach when that reopens in 2026. Hurricane Hannah's at Yacht and Beach Club Pool Bar, and the Intermission Food Court at All Star Music. And then last but not least, we got Seaside Chicken Strips on the horizon, and that'll come to Columbia Harbor House at Magic Kingdom. Wow, there's so many. I can't even decide what's my favorite that
Mhm.
is en route.
And just in case you think seaside chicken strips sounds weird, it's described as seasoned with a tasty seasoned aioli, crushed pretzels, and crispy garlic. that will make you feel like you're sitting waterside with that sea breeze with each bite. So, like, there's no hidden shrimp or something in it.
Dang, that like they all look so good. We'll have to do like a chicken strip crawl or something.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, yes. We need a t-shirt with all the chicken strips. Check them off as we go. I'll make us tattoos.
Oh my god, that'd be so fun. I
Yeah.
love that.
It'll just be like college at Bagel and Deli trying to eat all the bagels in order to get the shirt. Actually, not even to get the shirt, to get the opportunity to buy the shirt.
That was something that I gotta say never ended up like on my list because oscillated between the same like 3 to 4
Mhm.
bagels if I went.
I
Oh,
got the same 2 bagels all the time, so I also did not ever acquire that shirt, but
no. Because like when you want bagel and deli, like every so often I would like maybe like dip into like a breakfasty one, like if I went at a different time. But no, like the messy Katie was one of them.
I got the Tanya Harding and a Crunch and Munch.
Oh, I was trying to remember. I was like, which is the one with the Doritos on it? It was the Crunchy
Crunch and
Munch.
Munch. I tell Ben about it every chance that I get. Whenever he finally gets to go to Miami, I told him we have to go to Bagel and Deli.
Yes, that you do. Oh, ah, the days.
Mhm.
One last little piece of news. Spaceship Earth, and this is kind of in the rumor speculation spiral category. So Spaceship Earth has started having it's under
Refurb right now. Yeah.
but it has started having some hours pop up as of the 25th, which is during Wine and Dine weekend of October. So maybe that's just not it. Like maybe it says something about when it's going to come back up. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just it will get updated. Maybe it won't. But keep your eye out on the Disney app for some of that. Okay, I'm ready for a fun fact or two. On this day in 1971, Bedknobs and Broomsticks premieres in London, England.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Disney classic of sorts.
Is it Halloweeny? Like, it sounds like it would be.
It's like a live action, like family musical esque fantasy film.
Oh, yeah, look at this art. They're flying on a bed.
Yeah, they are. Kind of a stacked cast here, honestly. But some songs were written by the Sherman Brothers.
Oh my gosh, Angela Lansbury was in it?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, what a failure on my part. Oh, it's on Disney Plus, so I'll just put that on the list of must-watches.
exactly. It'll be good. And then also on this day in 1991, the first official sales for Disney Vacation Club begin.
Wow.
Yeah. Old Key West was the first Disney Vacation Club resort.
When did your parents buy their first DVC contract?
Ooh, that's a good question. I know it was the early 2000s. Um my mom is probably yelling at like the radio right
How can
now.
you not
Going,
remember this? She's gonna
I
text us, and with a date out of context, I'm gonna be like, "Huh?" And then we're gonna remember why.
yeah, it always comes back eventually. I want to say like 2001 or 2002.
Mm,
In my defense, I was little, but I know my mom's like yelling at like we're going to get a message of like it was this time because she will correct me because I guess when I was saying I hadn't ever stayed club level, I guess one time we did stay club level at either yacht or beach club,
mm.
and but we didn't really go up to the club. She like we had like food I guess like delivered or something like that. I was like, oh, well that's an interesting piece of lore that I did not know. But it's funny because sometimes she corrects me. She's like, "Yes, you've done that." Like, hello. It cracks me up. But it's fun because it's kind of like putting different like pieces of certain things together, and it's like kind of like I don't know. It's fun.
Mhm.
You know what could be fun, but like sometimes might not be. Taking risks.
Yeah, important part of life, taking risks.
What's life without a little risk? So we're going to talk about some like risk in it for the biscuit things. Um, because I'm in full taper crazy right now. Um, like, and it's one of those like, rethinking everything, but like not rethinking, it's good. It's great.
We just need to have a little fun. Take your mind off it.
Like both dialing it, but both like locking in and taking my mind off. Like maybe,
Yeah.
a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But we're going to talk about different kind of like scenarios and like whether or not we would risk it for the biscuit, but also whether or not we have.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with one saying eating expired fuel.
I feel like there's a good chance I would do it because I probably wouldn't notice until I'm, like, out there or until after I've already consumed it, if I'm being honest, because it's not like I regularly check the expiration dates on my fuel. I think if I knew ahead of time, I wouldn't, but I feel like there's a really high chance I do it by accident.
I've definitely done it, because, when you see, like, cheaper fuel at the running store, it's not just out of the graciousness of our hearts because it's gonna expire soon,
Mm,
and, I loot those bins, often because I know I take so much fuel, like, in especially when we're, like, deep in back-to-backs that
mhm.
you know, I've definitely done it, and I've done it, like I especially the Cliff Blocks, I feel like, they're so much harder,
Oh, are they? Is that what happens?
or maybe it's just the margarita ones that, like,
Oh,
especially get hard in the first place. Oh
maybe.
my
I don't
god.
really like the margarita ones because I don't like margaritas.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. They're not my favorites either of all the different Cliff Blocks, but when they're $1 and you get 2 servings out of them, I can deal with it. Um, like, when $1 when they're on sale, I should say. I'll just deal or if they're in the variety pack, I still take them. So, I definitely have, like, been like, "Oh, yeah, these expired, like, 4 months ago. Oops." That's why they're so like, they're so much harder to chew. In terms of doing it during a race, I mean, I'm a lot pickier about what goes into the vest.
Mhm,
Like I've already like bagged up everything I'm bringing that like could go.
mhm.
I did put it into the vest, but then that was stressing me out because I'm like, what if that's like not? So I put it into a feed bag because that's what we do in the past. So we need to continue doing that. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I probably would notice before, way before that I got into a race, but also, but then on the counter side, on the flip side, if it's dopey, if it's the half and it's 3 in the morning, it's like, oh well, oops, you know, it happens. All right, next one. Would you not set an alarm when traveling with somebody else for the races?
Absolutely not. Ben does, we should have Ben on because Ben relies on my alarm, but, absolutely not. Also, you get up earlier than I do, so we both set alarms.
Yeah, I usually like bypass the alarm. Yeah. I always think about it and it's not like I don't trust you, obviously, but it's like one of those things where it's like, that is such a preventable mistake.
Mhm.
Right? Like, that's such a to, like or, like, only set 1 alarm. Like, that's so preventable. Like, it takes, what, 2 extra seconds to click an alarm? Of course, I'm gonna set, like, my own alarms, and even though I don't end up using them for the most part, I usually wake up before my alarm. Um, I still have it set.
Except and this is why you should also set your own alarms, even if you're not the one running, because this is how I woke up Natalie for her 5K, is I wasn't running that race, and I still set an alarm for the time I knew you needed to be up, and I woke you up.
True friends. True friends. But, yeah, definitely, I would not risk it for the biscuit, and it's it's just
No.
it's so preventable.
We've seen too many horror stories from people the day of or, like, well, after the day, in the Facebook group being like, I slept through my alarm," or "The alarm never went off," or whatever, and then they miss the whole race, like, it's just not worth it, especially for a Disney race. They're so expensive.
But, yeah, no, 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 no. No. It's just a preventable mistake, so, yeah, it's preventable.
What about wearing a new piece of gear on race day?
So this one's a little interesting because it depends on the piece of gear, I'd say.
Whether or not it's gonna touch your skin?
Not yeah, probably not only that, but how removable it is if it
Mm,
annoys me as well. So I guess my first marathon, I did not I had my Mickeys for Dopey and my final Mickey was, kind of like classic Mickey yellow bow
mhm,
tie. I did not practice run in the yellow bow tie. And to make things worse, I worked out fine, but I was annoyed that it kept like falling over, like forward. I'm like, no, no, no. This needs to be standing straight up. So
mhm,
I tied it around my hair to like secure it so it would stay up.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, so I figured, and this isn't a piece of gear, this is a costume piece, so it's a little different, but I
Eh.
figured that if it irritated me enough, I could take it off on the highway miles or
Mhm.
just eat it. I think you
Mhm.
would still probably understand I was Mickey Mouse, but I figured I would just eat it if it was bothering me. But gear-wise, like, I've thought about it, and if there's, like, at the expo for Chicago, I don't love my belt.
Mhm.
Um, I like it, but I don't love it, but I also haven't found something I've, like, really, like if I find a belt, I'm gonna have to think I might think about, like, using it,
Mhm.
which might be risking it for the biscuit,
Mhm.
but that is something that's kind of removable, you know? But also, I like to pin
It's
my bib to
removable, but
there.
then it changes your whole race plan of, like, your storage situation,
Yeah, yeah.
especially depending on how early in the race you decide to eat it.
Runs up to my spectators. Yeet. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. But also, I mean, I've been wanting to replace mine has been well loved, the belt that I currently have. But also that's where I tend to pin my bib too, though. So
Mhm.
I, there are maybe a few things that I would risk it for the biscuit on because, but you know, I wouldn't do a new hydration vest on,
Mhm.
because I am that ding dong who has like you know chafed from their vest and probably will chafe again if I'm being real with you. Um actually well without the bladder in it, that's probably where most of my the worst of my chafing comes from. So um I think this is kind of the gray area of
Yeah.
like would I risk it for the biscuit?
I have definitely worn new costume pieces and not just, like, a bow tie. When I dressed as Tinkerbell, I had never worn that tutu for a run, and it was a long tutu. Um, and that's how I learned that if your tutu is longer than your shorts, there's a good chance it's gonna rub. I did not feel anything while running, thankfully, but I did end up chafing because of that tutu. And luckily it because it was very mild, it basically resolved itself. Didn't wasn't a problem for any later races, but so I've definitely done that. I'm trying to think actual, like, gear. I think I've worn brand new shorts for a race before. Not, like, brand new, I'd never worn them ever, but I had definitely never worn them further than, like, a couple of miles for a weekday run. I had never worn them on a long run, and I think I was almost forced into that situation
Mm,
because it was either wine and dine or something, but, like, I think it was ended up being hot the whole weekend, and I only had 3 pairs of shorts or something and no laundry option.
that was wine
So
and dine.
so, yeah, I think that I wore new-ish shorts for the half, and luckily it turned out okay, but it was not my first choice, and I learned that I will never wear those shorts for a long run ever again. Not because I didn't chafe, but just because they are not, uh, particularly sweat wicking, so when you've been running for that long, they were just really damp, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I swear it took me way longer to put my shorts on than it
Ah,
even took for me to, like, wait in line and go to the bathroom. I was just, like, couldn't get them resituated. It was a pain in the butt. So I've definitely done it. I don't think I would, like, ever knowingly set myself up to wear a new thing, but I definitely would risk it for the biscuit if I'm kind of cornered into it. Because I would do that over wear dirty shorts. Because that's where I was in that scenario was, do I wear a pair of shorts that I already exercised in? No. Because that is a much higher risk activity for me personally than risking it on a different pair that I'm not sure what will happen.
couple things. So one, you've de-influenced me from the idea of like my questionable. We were having a conversation about like outfit changes for Chicago based on the weather and prior to recording. And thank you for reminding me because I have been now deluluing myself into, well, what if I do wear these shorts that I wore on my long runs? No, because they literally look like I jumped into a pool sometimes because they're not very sweat wicking. Thank you for that. Whew.
Mhm.
Secondly, where would you stand on like a visor? Because that's what I think where this question mostly
Oh.
stemmed from. Because I've worn visors to run. I've worn plenty, but I don't know if I let I have two visors. I have one that's like purple sparkles, and I have one that's black with like a little tiara on it. And I kind of like, I'm like, well, what if I want to wear a different visor, like that I
I
don't
would
have?
wear a new visor on race day.
It's
Uh,
eatable.
for me, yeah, it's easy to take off if I decide that it's like, I don't know, somehow rubbing somewhere or whatever. Um, but I've also just never had a problem
Hmm.
with a visor. There's just I
Same.
think there's something about like, it's you're not gonna overheat in a visor versus a hat. And they're really good in the in the off chance that you get a surprise rain shower. Visor's way better than sunglasses in that scenario. And yeah, I just can't think of a scenario where it wouldn't be worth it to decide to add that to my outfit or whatever. Because if I hated it that much, assuming it was either if it's a short race, I'll just hold it in my hand. If I hate it that much, I'll just take it off because it could give me a headache. That's the only thing
Hmm.
that it could maybe do because that's how I feel every time I think about wearing ears for a race is like, is am I gonna be able to wear it the whole time? Are they gonna give me a headache?
Hmm.
But if it's short enough, I can hold it in my hand, and if it's long enough, I would just make Ben or someone stop with me at a water stop and, like, attach it to the back of my vest or shove it in the pocket or something.
Hmm. Oh, I can't have my bladder in my vest. So anyway, so I
You're gonna have
guess if
so
I
much room.
so much room for activities. Yeah, I guess that's what I would just do is if I decide that, you know, because we're in like the like, oh my god, it's like too late to order this stage two at this point. Um,
Yeah, plus you're wearing a bow. Are you wearing the bow
yes,
that
I'm gonna
you
wear the bow.
got for the race?
Hmm.
Yeah, so, like, if you do find a visor, then, like, a visor's not gonna cover the bow.
True. That
So,
is true. That is true.
mhm. What about running faster than your normal pace on race day, even when you're feeling, like, super good. There's a
Oh.
there's, like, one thing to, like, running faster than normal versus, like, because like, my long runs are gonna be slower than I run a race. That's ho in part of the design of a long run, but, like, even faster than you planned on running.
So obviously we have witnesses here, like
Natalie definitely risks it. I don't even need to hear the answer, I know the answer.
Okay, so we have witnesses here, and we have data, we have empirical evidence to suggest that yes, have I risked it for the biscuit? Yeah, I sure have. See also my 10-mile to half marathon splits from the marathon last year. um, yeah, we definitely it wasn't even something that I was intentionally trying to hit that, but I knew that I was running a little faster because I had taken a bathroom break in Magic Kingdom, and I was like, I want to kind of like push it toward like the hat, like kind of not like makeup time because it wasn't like that dire, but it was just kind of like, I just want to see like I have the TTC parking lot to bool around, I guess. So I'm like, I'm just gonna kind of push it and just see what happens. And I saw what happened and went, oh beep. Uh And then I stayed closer to that pace than I did to the paces I ran in the first couple miles of the race for the rest of the race. But yeah, I got to say that I've definitely done it where I'm the person who has to put themselves in running jail because they're running too fast too early in the race. Of course,
Mhm,
and like I try not to risk it. I try to be very calculated on like, okay, like this is your leeway of like, you want to save some juice for later when like you already feel like poop and like you really like, you got to go out there and cook. So I don't like purposefully go risk it for the biscuit, but it happens.
mhm.
What about you?
Uh, I think this would require me having, like, a really solid plan to begin with. Which to be fair for marathon and half marathon distances, I generally have like a idea of my pace goal, but I don't have like a super detailed plan of like, oh, for the first 10K I'm going to do this, then the next 10K I'm going to do this, and the next kind of thing. Um, but I'm also definitely gonna slow down if I notice after the first few miles that I am, going way too fast, because that's what I did during Chicago, and it bit me in the booty hard. So but also, when I ran the Princess Half this past spring, I started by walking the entire first mile, and then I ran faster than I've ever ran and PR'd, so maybe that's the secret for me. It's just I gotta walk for the first little bit so I don't cook from adrenaline.
So I should say that Chicago aside coming up, I don't really go in with a plan. I go in with a pla at best. So of like this is what I'd like to aim for. This is what I think might be realistic, but I don't know. Like the number of times I look down at my watch and go, "Oh shit," and not like an "oh shit," like I didn't realize that I would be running this quickly. Like it's relatively often. So we go in with a pla. Um, at best. But it is interesting the comment about like walking first because I feel like with the way, and I think that this is just excessive fatigue on my legs, the way that things have been going for me lately is that like, and I'm hoping that like walking to the Palmer house and then to the start line kind of simulates this and kind of takes that little like fatigue out for me. But for Chicago, is that like I feel like I'm taking a lot longer to warm up
Mhm.
too, where like then I like get to like a comfortable like place. So I'm hoping we kind of just, get that out of the way on Sunday with the walk, but also we are holding on for dear life with these Normatec boot sessions. So hopefully, like, hopefully they save my life here. But I am going in with a plan actually this time. Um, I have to actually chart out what my pace plan looks like. Ooh, sidebar. Something that they did, and this is a new feature on Garmin, um, who's beefing with Strava, um, but is that for the Chicago Marathon, they have like auto lap at the gates where it's supposed to like work with the course. I'm going to manually
Hmm.
lap, but it's very interesting to me that it's supposed to because it says also the distance is 26.63 instead of 26.2.
Mhm.
Now, that seems extreme that it's almost a half mile over, but I don't really think because then when you divide it out, like what the overage is, it's like 0.015 per mile extra, which there's no way us plebes are running the tangents.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's actually somewhat realistic of what your
I feel
overage
like
is going to
that's
be.
pretty close to what I actually ended up running. I remember telling you how I'd done, like, an extra half of a mile or something, and we were actually pretty impressed that that's all, the extra I did,
Yeah.
all things considered, so that should be good.
Cause yeah, at Disney, mine was 2.87, but that included a potty break. And then also like when you veer off to see a character or something.
Mhm.
Um that was actually, and that's the lowest mine has ever been. Usually I'm way higher, but I was also using Weir's tracking tools, so at the time.
We don't have to talk about the Fitbit.
Yeah, it's almost my Garmin versary. We don't even like it's been quite the year with this little thing. Uh, but I don't really even miss the Fitbit that much. Yeah, we don't need to analyze that part for now. Would you risk it for the biscuit and try a new sleep aid before a race?
No,
Okay, just
no.
straight no.
1, I don't take sleep aids now, so I'm definitely not gonna take a sleep aid before Dopey because we've already talked about we wouldn't risk not doing an alarm. I'm not putting extra risk involved in possibly missing that alarm, sleeping through that alarm. I tend to be pretty sensitive to, s just really any medication. Anything that has a chance of making me drowsy tends to work overtime for me, even if it's really not supposed to. So, absolutely not.
I guess I probably would. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Now that I think about it, because yeah, I pretty much try. Last year I kind of added magnesium into the sleeping routine,
Mhm.
um, and that like I did like sometime during the training block for Dopey, so it wasn't even
Yeah.
new. It wasn't even new to me,
I
But
already
yeah,
have a hard enough time waking up without a sleep aid. So I don't have it's just to be clear for everyone, I don't have a problem falling asleep, staying asleep, any of it. I sleep like a baby. So I don't need to add anything that makes it harder for me to wake up.
see, I would say I do sleep like a baby too, in which like I wake up and like I'm like mad about it. uh,
Natalie's having a tantrum.
yeah, it's just a little. No, like it's in like it's just like I like will wake up in the middle of the night for reasons unbeknownst to me and just be like, why? I mean, it's gotten a lot better. We're like worked with that a lot with trying to make sure I do go back to bed, but um yeah, the stay asleep or whatever. And just like magnesium helps with recovery as well. But yeah, I don't think even if like the worst kind of like, like I'm having a hard time sleeping during the middle of the dopey, like where would I find like I'm not gonna like I guess I could Instacart something, but like I think I would just rather suffer. Like I don't know, like I don't think I would try something new. And like, something I've never tried before.
Mhm.
But would you wear new socks on race day?
Yes, and I have. I wore new socks for Chicago. And I actually don't regret that part. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things about that race that didn't go well and that I didn't like it would do not recommend, but the socks was not it. I think if they were completely brand new in like brand style, all that kind of thing, then I would be hesitant. But uh if it's the same sock, like if it's I wear the Features Elite Ultralight sock, if it's just a new pair of those, I have absolutely done that. I did it for Chicago. I'm sure I've done it for Disney. I've done it for training runs. Like, I don't have any problems with those socks. If I know that those socks work with my shoes, then it's fine. Um, I did almost wear like a completely brand new sock once for a Disney race because I was wearing a brace, like a not a brace, like a compression, like an ankle compression sleeve,
Mhm.
because my ankle was acting up, and so I was thinking about wearing a new sock. Didn't wear a new sock, um, but I didn't think about like this is similar to maybe wearing new socks. I didn't consider the fact that the compression sleeve would add bulk around
Oh
my ankle
yeah.
when tying my shoe. So I had to tie my shoes looser, and I think that impacted my race. So I would not recommend uh, going with something that's completely different than you've already tried. Because like if you went with a thicker sock, you'd have the same situation. Or if you're used to a thicker sock and you go to a thinner sock, then you might not tie them tight enough, and then you might have blisters because your shoe's moving around a lot more. Um, but if it's the same kind of sock, like a different color or just like a brand new pair, like I wore a I specifically bought a pair of blue socks for Chicago.
Mhm.
So I wore those for Chicago and they were special, so I didn't wear them in training. So yes and no, I guess.
Kind of. So I usually have Mr. Natalie bequeaths me a pair of socks for every marathon so far, and I know I've worn the ones that I'm wearing for Chicago. But now that I think about it, I don't remember if I got before my first marathon. I don't remember if I got them for my birthday or for Christmas because they're close. And if I got them for Christmas, I wouldn't have had time to like really run in them. I don't think
Mhm.
if I think about it. I think I got them for my birthday though, where again it's the I want sock. Uh,
Mhm.
best present ever. I want sock. But yeah, I mean, I would keep like if I found a really sick pair of Balegas, like I like Balega blister resist, or I like the max cushion features. Um, those I would be have no problems, because I've tested the combo. I have tested this even better. I've not only tested the sock, I've tested the combo with my race shoes. So I feel pretty good about that.
Mhm.
Um, all these little quirks and such, but yeah, I think that like especially like if there were a reason why I was like, oh my god, I am suffering and like whatever sock situation, say again, like not that everything's about dopey, but like if I'm in the middle of a multi-day challenge type of situation, and I'm like, I need a new sock. I need a sock like Dobby needs a sock. So I would probably try. I mean, I would probably risk it. Maybe not for that longest one because I am a little superstitious, but I would probably wear a new pair of socks for the half
Yeah.
if something were like that bad that it wasn't working for me. Because then if I wear them for that, and then I need to get another pair for tomorrow for the full, then woohoo, uh, I'd be able to do that. Would you risk it for the biscuit by trying a new recovery tool during race week?
I feel like in classic engineering fashion, the answer is it depends because, like, you've talked me into trying the race boots, the
Okay.
compression boots at the expo, which I don't own a pair of those. So, like, that was something new that I kind of did during race week. Um, and I've definitely tried like a massage gun, that kind of thing as new, but I've never like, I would never go like, if I didn't usually get massages before or after races, I would never in a million years go get a massage because I've gotten massaged outside of race week before, and I know how sore I could be afterwards, or, like,
Mhm.
I just that sounds like a recipe for disaster. Um, and another thing that people I see a lot on the internet that's, like, I think similar is I know a lot of people get those, IV, like, they
Oh
go to
my
an
god,
IV
yes.
studio or whatever, and even my parents tried to convince me that I should go, get an IV, I think before Dopey, and I was like, "Yeah, no, absolutely not. I am not going." No offense if you have had this, but it's not within my personal risk tolerance. I am not having someone put something intravenous unless I it is medical necessity.
And maybe somebody can tell me that I'm wrong. That's fine. But especially those, like, I just feel like it's so much riskier. Like, I my mom will laugh at this, but I have like the hardest to find veins ever. Okay, maybe
Mm.
not ever,
No,
but
same.
mine are really hard to find. I am a feel, not a look. I mean, you should feel it out anyway, but I don't know. I'm
My
afraid of
nurse
needles.
taught me how to do it last time I had to get blood drawn, and I was so excited.
That is exciting. But you get enough like you when you go on Accutane twice, you get a lot of blood draws. So at least that these are things because then whenever I go and I have like a regular physical, I tell them that. And I've had them miss before. I've had them have to have backup come in before, and I've had like three people back up trying to find the vein. That was uncomfortable for the next
Mhm.
day. So, in terms of like that is not something that I am willing to. That's not something I'm willing to risk. I feel like there's so much more that could go wrong and also like how much more of like the electrolytes, etc. Like, and I'm talking like not like I'm like fainty, like whatever, like need medical attention. Like how many more of like electrolyte sodium like balance that I can't do myself, you
Mhm.
know? Because if I'm that dire that I need like help like that, I probably shouldn't be running the next day,
Mhm.
right? Like if it's to the point where I like need a medical assistance, I probably shouldn't be lacing up for the full.
Mhm.
So yeah, so whew. um, so
You
that
didn't
is not
even think
something.
about that, did you, before I said that?
Um, it as you were starting to go along, I kind of got where were going with that, but yeah, I would not do that. Nope, nope, nope. If I need to suffer with the consequences of my underhydration, so be it, right? Like, but I'm not willing, like, I'm just not going to do that, right? I'm going to prep as best I can. But recovery wise, I guess I have and I would like, as I said when we were talking about the or opening the episode, I'm not going to try cryotherapy in the during race week, but also like there are more mild things that I'm not sure that I wouldn't have done. So the first time I ever got KT taped or ever used KT tape was between the half and the full of my first dopey. I figured I went back to the expo. I got taped up because my knees weren't like bothering me, but there was like, I feel like I could use a little more support.
Mhm.
And I was walking around, I was like, what is this wizardry? Like, just like, like I didn't know exactly how it worked for the kind of like basically like increases the blood flow to your area. I was like, what is this wizardry? And then also the boots. I mean, as we learned, I don't own a pair of boots and it's like a pretty expensive purchase to make on a whim.
Mhm.
So it's really great to try them out at a expo when they have a bunch of different vendors around. If you don't end up liking it, then, you spent 20, 30 minutes there, and then whatever, if it doesn't work for you, then great. But no, I'm not great, but did them for the first time and at Disneyland prior to in the Crazy Goofy to Dumbo back to backs, and I was astonished how good my legs felt because I did them the day before the half marathon of at Disneyland. So I had run a marathon a week prior, gone around the parks, yada yada, and I was astonished how good my legs felt. I felt like I had like new legs. Like it was,
Mhm.
what is this sorcery? So that's something I have and would try. I feel like, yeah, yeah, there's stuff that, I mean, who knows how desperate we're going to get the rest of this week. No way, we're not doing that. You're not going to catch me with an IV in me unless I am like ill. So knock on wood for that.
What about a new flavor of fuel or a whole new fuel altogether?
I don't think I would do a full new fuel altogether unless it were dire. Like if I am like in the pain cave, I've tried Morton before, but say I hadn't. If I were in the pain cave, it's mile like 18 of the Chicago Marathon, and I come up to the next eight, I would probably try it.
Mhm.
Um, if I were just suffering and like, and there's certain suffering that Morton can't fix, but there's some suffering like, like that it can. I probably would do that. Yeah.
Can
Um,
confirm can confirm seeing as my Chicago Marathon went absolutely down the drain.
do I also plan ahead? Like I want to say, I'm sure that the first time I actually tried Little Sport Beans was an on course try.
Mhm.
Which actually, okay, growth opportunity here, maybe. I actually have become I'm a changed woman on the Sport Beans. I actually kind of like them.
Ben
They're
loves
part
the sport beans.
So I like the caffeinated ones, the caffeinated cherry ones. I felt like I had like turbo jets on me at
Yeah.
Disneyland. So they are making it into they have made the cut into the
Ooh.
vest for Chicago.
They also come in a very good form factor, in my opinion. The little
Yes.
bag, like, they pack down really well. There's minimal air, so that's
Yes.
good.
Indeed.
I don't think I would try a new, like, gel or whatever during a race, except for in the same scenario where you just talked about, like, say I okay, there's, like, no chance you're ever gonna catch me in a race without enough fuel because I, first of all, calculate all my fuel needs based on fueling every 20 minutes, which I try to do for the first bit and then do after, and then I usually add a whole extra hour's worth of fuel to my vest because you never know. And so if some like, if my Chicago experience says anything, if something bad happens and I'm in pain or whatever and like don't have a choice but to like limp back to my car or whatever, then I want to be prepared for that. Um but not like goo or like something you're going to buy at like the running store. I tried eating a banana during the marathon at Disney for the very first time, and I the first one, I split half of a banana with Ben at the first banana station, which I'm pretty sure that banana was frozen. Um, it was really cold,
Yeah.
and that sat well, so then when we got to the next banana handout, I was like, I'm getting my own banana." That worked out well in my favor, but it could have been bad. Um, but I've done it, and I felt pretty confident. I have not had too much bad luck with actual, like, food or anything
Mhm.
causing me issues running, so I felt kind of okay with that risk. I've had more issues with actual running fuel and their makeup and stuff causing digestive issues, like, I'm usually okay for the duration of the race, it's more like what's gonna happen to me after the race
Mhm.
that's, the risk, so, like, goo, I hate goo. With a passion. Sorry, guys. Sorry, salted lime. Um, but I just hate goo. I don't like the way any of them taste. They all taste the same to me, and the texture reminds me of a melted Tootsie Roll. So, it's not Doesn't agree with me, and I do not feel good post-run after having consumed it. So, yeah, I I've definitely tried plenty of new flavors, though, like, I tried margarita during a race. That's how I found out I don't like margarita. I mean, I knew I didn't like margaritas, the actual food slash drink before that, but I figured since, they can't put actual tequila in a block that it might be okay. Still didn't like it. Um, yeah. And I would if I was in a dire scenario and I needed fuel because let's say my belt broke and it fell off and like
Oh
I
God.
don't know, something crazy happens and I lose all my fuel, then, like, I would do what I have to do because I know the other option, which is what happened to me in the second half of Chicago, which was not eating anything, was you end up in the med tent with hypothermia or something along those lines, needing probably an actual IV from medical staff. So, don't recommend, uh, but do recommend if that's what you're weighing is like, do I take random fuel I've never tried or do I possibly end up in the med tent? Please don't choose, maybe I end up in the med tent.
Do not risk it for that biscuit. Yeah, I gotta say, well, I'd have to, I feel like you bring up like the real food thing aspect of things. So I hear like,
Mhm.
especially with world majors, um, there is plenty of people just doing things like giving out candy,
Uh-huh. And
and
that's
whatnot.
something I wrote up for later, and I have done. I've taken random candy from strangers on Disney courses.
So I feel like I don't know because I'm thinking of like I mean, so I don't have that sensitive of a stomach. Again, knock on wood. I don't have in terms of like things disagreeing with me. I usually am pretty good. So I feel like if I tried something like usually like I don't know, like I don't really like cyst gels. I at least the ones that I've tried don't really like them.
Is that
So
how
but
people pronounce it? I've always heard or said SIS.
oh, porque no los dos. I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
Um
They're
but
more
I think
popular in Europe than they are here, so it's fine.
interesting. Or maybe okay, I'm not like maybe I've just had some like not great flavors, whatever. If that was like my option of like it's that or not have fuel, I would just take it.
Yeah.
I have tried that before, but if I'm trying to think of I don't know. I guess I've never had Huma before.
Oh, I have.
I've
I
never
tried it on
had
a training run recently, and I, was, like, 7 out of 10 on texture, but flavor was pretty good.
ooh, I've never
Texture
done
is my
spring.
big thing. Oh,
Yeah,
no, I hate spring, but if you like applesauce, you'll like spring.
I do like applesauce.
Then you'll be fine.
So usually when I don't even like the flavor of something, I could at least like hork it down.
Mm-mm, I almost vomited on a training run trying spring. Like, I
Ugh.
got not even halfway through the pack and threw it away because I almost threw up.
Yeah, that's mm. So, ugh.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah,
We're not doing a spooky season, series this year, but kinda spooky.
true. Existential crisis. Yay. But yeah, I think that it would just it's somewhat situational. But yeah, I guess I tried the banana for the first time also during the marathon in 23. And oh, let me tell well, okay. So bananas, like, there's the brat diet when you're sick
Mhm.
of like
I'm
bananas are one
very
of the things
familiar.
are one of those things that are on it. So like I figured again, like it would probably be fine. And like also like I figured it would probably be fine. Like
Mhm.
that's something that is like does like is like good and like soothing for
Very
like
gentle.
yes, for a hurting stomach, but it hit so good. Oh, mm, that's gonna that those bananas are gonna
If you
hit.
like bananas, it's gonna be the best banana of your life.
Even if you don't love banana, like as long as you don't hate bananas, like it really hits. Like if uh Mr. Natalie is like the world's biggest banana fan, so like I should really be pushing more on the angle of like guess what you get banana. When I'm trying to convince him to like maybe partake at some point, like I really should be pushing the banana thing,
Mhm.
but I don't. Uh would you risk it for the biscuit with running without testing your race outfit?
I think it depends. Again, it's always gonna be it depends on the length and the lineup. So, like, for goofy or dopey or, like, if I'm gonna run many days in a row, absolutely not. Because well, I guess it also kinda depends on how much is touching my skin, similar to
Mhm.
earlier. Because like, I never trained in our, Miss Congeniality costume.
No, neither
That
did I.
came very last minute, but I also knew that I would be walking a good chunk of that race, if not all of it, and I also knew as I got closer to the race that it was going to be cold AF and that that dress was not actually gonna touch my skin, so everything that I wore underneath was all stuff that was tried and true, so, like, I wasn't really risking it in that scenario, but that Tinkerbell skirt, tulle skirt, that I never trained in. I trained in, the shirt and, like, the shorts, but and that's why I thought I'd be cool, but I didn't think about the fact that the once, like, fully fluffed, that that tutu was actually longer than my shorts. Um, and that's okay if you're running a standalone race and don't have, like, a big weekend or, you're not gonna be walking around the parks or whatever, and you have a solution for that. My biggest I'm always afraid of getting chafed, and then if you have 3 more right? If you chafe on your 5K outfit and then you have
Oh,
to run the rest of dopey, yeah, no thanks.
yeah, I'm a big fan. So I've definitely done this before and I'd do it again. But yeah, like you said, it's situational and it depends,
Mhm.
right? Where if I'm thinking
Like,
of
you're not
how
trying something new for the marathon.
most people aren't no. Um I can't say because not only did I run in the little bow tie thing for the first, but also like the little like skirt. I had like a sparkly soul skirt, which is like it's basically like one layer of tulle. I'm like, how bad could this be? And also I'll take it off.
Mhm.
Like I had pants on underneath it. I was not poo bearing it. I figured that like worst comes case scenario, I'll take it off if it bothers me. So,
Yeah.
I definitely have. But again, everything touching my skin, besides the bow tie thing, was actually stuff that was tried and true tested.
Mhm.
Um, but I will say, I guess during springtime this past year, I did not consider my Cusco costume and how I did have a little bit of rubbing on my neck from the like neck piece for it
Mhm.
because I didn't even put it on my head. I mean, that was so last minute that I didn't even put it on my head before I got down for the race weekend. Um, and I did have a little bit of rubbing, but also my intent of that weekend was just vibes
Mhm.
anyway. So I knew that like a little bit of neck chafy, like, well, unfortunate, and what really wasn't that bad. Wasn't going to impact me, like, because I was here for vibes,
Mhm.
the DLS, the just kind of getting through it. So there's different risk tolerances I have based on different, like, what I'm trying to get out of the weekend.
Mhm.
Um, and also, it was a pretty good costume. And like, if I wore, I'll probably use that again at some point. I'll probably just maybe like pad it, that like piece by my neck or body glide or something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it really it depends, but and I have risked it for the biscuit, and there are certain biscuits I'd risk it for.
What about skipping your corral like, skipping your warm up because the corral is too crowded, which is a very common the corrals are smooshed at Disney, so
So
because 'cause you're in
here's
there
the
a
thing.
while.
Here's the thing is that I feel like with all the extra walk, like you walk to the front of your resort,
Mhm.
and then you walk through Epcot security, and this is just putting in the Disney mindset of things. You walk through Epcot security. You walk through. There's a lot. I feel pretty warm usually.
Mhm.
In terms of like when I'm kind of like wait before we all smush up and cuddle. I do feel like I try to get as much like kind of like low impact mobility in. Like I'm not like usually like sprinting like laps in the back of my corral. Like there's strides in the back of my corral. That's just
Mhm.
not what's going to happen. But there's like most of the mobility that I like the best is somewhat low impact. So or
Mhm.
like low. I don't need a large space to do it. Right.
Mhm.
Like I'm not doing my whole like um hip airplanes like with my leg behind me because I'm gonna kick someone. But I will
Mhm.
do my hip hinges because that's basically it's like almost like marching in place.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't completely I would not like I would not completely skip it. But there's some inherent, especially with like and then also with Chicago with these large races, like there's a lot of walkie-walkie that I have to do. So like that is partially part of my warm up. I probably will warm up like at the Palmer house, probably in my hotel as I'm like tweaking in the morning next week or this weekend. But yeah, no, I wouldn't skip warm up. But at the same time, like I'm not doing strides in the back of my corral anyway. So what about you?
Um, I definitely have skipped my warm up many a time in a corral, so I can't say that I wouldn't do it again. And I do think Disney kind of, like you said, lends itself to this a little bit. Also depends on like how early do you get in your corral, because if you're getting in your corral because you need to be at the front of your corral to give yourself more buffer, then you're gonna put yourself in a scenario where it's gonna be a lot harder to do any kind of warm up. Um, but also because we tend to vibe the 5 and 10Ks for challenges and just for race weekends at Disney, because you and I are usually, I don't know, that's just how we sort of choose to line it all up. I don't feel like I need to warm up if I'm not trying to, like, really push it or anything. And then for races that we are by the half and full, those are the shortest warm-ups you have anyways. So, yeah, I'm just doing, like, a little bit of, like, in-place mobility, hopping on my foot kinda thing, to try and get my glutes warmed up. And most of those exercises I can do just from one. I don't like, when my hip is bothering me, I better not skip my warm-up or we're gonna be in a world of hurt, but I have done it. I can't say that I wouldn't do it again, but also the longer I've been doing this, the less I seem to care about getting in my corral early. So it does give me a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, that is fair. Cause I guess, yeah, I guess the way you phrase it, it's like, yeah, do I like do my full warm up before the 5K? During again, it depends on the seriousness of the weekend. Cause during like dopey, I try to do is because I try to like think of it like the cumulative fatigue and stuff like that, like
Mhm.
the cumulative owies
Yeah, yeah,
that I
yeah.
want to avoid. So I do try to like be somewhat warmed up and like, especially if I'm just standing there anyway. And like, I'm like, okay, you could do your hip hinges. Like you could do your like, if
Mhm.
you got some room, like some elbow room, you can definitely do like your like side lunges and stuff like that. Like kind of like just get some stuff, like some like
Yeah.
stuff crack a lacking. But yeah, I can't say that I like I don't know. I've gotten that's something that I'm gonna take away from this training block is that I've gotten a lot better with doing a more full warm up, because I feel so much better when I do.
Mhm.
Because I have like my favorite video follow along videos, and you think about how many times I do them, like I would know like which. But no, I still want Run Fit Mama to say to me about like doing my gorilla squats and uh, like my Jane Fonda look as I'm like doing my like heel slides on the but I still want her to say it to me, even though I know what comes next, but it's just part of the routine at this point. So, ooh, this is an interesting one. Eating spicy food the night before a long run.
I don't think I've ever done it, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find me doing it because I tend to be like, I said that I sleep well, which is true, all things considered with how like anxious I can be. But usually the night before, I'm eating like, even in like dopey, I was eating like chicken tenders, and we went and got spaghetti one night, and I'm usually having, like, super bland food, not because I don't love spicy, I do love spicy, but because I just can barely get anything down, period.
Mhm.
So I don't tend to lean into a lot of things with a lot of flavor because that seems harder to get down when I don't feel my best.
Interesting.
And I can just imagine that if I already have, uh, if I'm already gonna have any post-run distress in the bathroom department, spicy food is not going to help with that.
So I'm gonna be real with you for a second. I'm trying to think of incidences where like is this bad karma to bring this up? I'm just gonna say it. Like where like it's hurt that much more coming back up. Like it's not like because I guess like I like spicy food, but it's like
Mhm.
I don't avoid spice for really anything, like but at the same time, like, I don't know, I guess I probably usually don't get to that threshold where it even hurts going down. So, like, I can't
Mhm.
imagine, like, I've never had like, I've never had it like a fiery exit experience.
Oh, I have many a time.
I'm gonna knock on wood real quick, just for fun. But like, because I guess Mr. Natalie and I have been back into Chipotle. Like Chipotle's good again, or at least our Chipotle is really good. Um, and some of like this, like I don't know, I've been kind of like mixing some stuff up of like some of the spicier salsas, whatever. And I have had that the day before a long run and not had any incident with it. But like on Saturday, am I going to specifically go for like spicy rigatoni? Like, probably not. I probably will keep it a little blander. Like, if it's something where it's like, this is a chicken parm with like a little spice, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, am I gonna go for a spicy rigatoni? Probably not. But I don't know. I think I've risked it for that biscuit for a long run versus like I do like my routines and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely had, like, meals, not necessarily spicy, but, like, meals that I recommend. Do you eat them before a race? Absolutely not, but before a long run, I'm not always thinking as clearly or as methodically as I would for a race weekend, so I've had all kinds of, like, wild meals that normally would probably not make me feel super great the next morning, and then I have to go for a half marathon distance long run, and I'm like, was that the best choice? Probably not, but oh well."
See, now I'm almost gonna contradict myself though, because Mr. Natalie makes fun of me sometimes because I just love macaroni and cheese. Like I love my mac
Ooh.
and cheese. Like, but I like to like drench it in sriracha. I
Mm.
love sriracha on my mac and cheese. And we don't eat like a ton of mac and cheese, but like especially like we're in the pits of like a marathon training block and like we don't really feel like doing anything fancy. It's like mac and cheese, we're like mac and cheese. And like the sriracha, I'm a heavy hand on the sriracha. So I guess like but like I don't find sriracha like that spicy, at least the ones I
Mhm.
get, but oh, now I could go for some sriracha on my mac and cheese.
Have you had Goodles yet?
No, what's that?
It's like a high protein pasta mac and cheese, like box mac and cheese, just like Kraft
Ooh,
Mac dinner. Um, but they have I wanna say there's like a cheddar one and, like white cheddar or something, like they have different flavors, but like I think they are just as good, if not better than Kraft,
ooh,
and you
that's
can buy it at
interesting.
Costco, so I'm just saying.
Oh, well, twist my arm. It's not like I need another reason to love something from Costco, but yeah, because that's good. Because then we're always trying to like scrambling to figure, like, find oh heck yeah, we have some like we have some like grilled chicken that's in the freezer, like that we
Mhm,
could like add some protein to this. But ooh, because yeah, I'm like starting to experiment more with some like protein pastas and stuff
mhm.
too. But
Of
ooh,
the protein pastas, I like the lentil-based ones more than I like the, like, chickpea or other things. I just think the texture is better, personally.
interesting. I'll have
Mhm.
to. We are young into this voyage.
What about forgetting Body Glide? And then you just sort of, like, hope, pray, send up some vibes to the gods.
That is a no from me, dog. Like I like if you forget something, you forget something, but I would absolutely be finding some Vaseline. There are just certain parts of me that like I need the glide. Like I have talked about my butt cheeks more than a reasonable human should
Mhm,
on this podcast, and absolutely not would I just hope for the best. Or like if I think about, I will glide my feet a little bit, but like I make sure I tape them. And I use like the KT tape, like the blister resist ones, because I just
mhm,
love to add that extra layer. I couldn't like I think I have like 2 or 3 full rolls of KT tape already packed for Chicago because I am that afraid of like running out
mhm,
for I found actually a new one that's like a really thick boy, like not even thick like thickness necessarily, but like a big guy that I'm going to
mhm,
use for my back for my bra line.
mm,
Cuz otherwise I end up doing two.
yeah.
I'm very excited about that one. But yeah, no, there is absolutely I could not just simply hope for the best. Like I know myself, I am a sweaty girly, I'm a heavy sweater, I'm a salty sweater, and sometimes like I don't need to do like the scream shriek when I get into the shower after this experience. Like for the health and wellness of everybody involved, like no,
Yeah.
that's not a biscuit I would
Uh,
risk it for.
you're gonna be horrified because I can think of 2 times multiple like, in recent history where I forgot, and we were already there at the trail, and I was like, "Well, I'm not going home because if I go home, I'm not coming back out here, so I guess we're doing this." Yeah.
So I
So,
guess okay, so that is a different thing.
I will do it. I will run without it. Usually, I have a backup because usually in my vest, I have my little mini squirrel's nut butter, and I usually have a lip balm thing that's I think it's called, like, nipple balm,
Mm.
but I have that and I keep that for emergencies as well, and I think I had just recently, like, fully unpacked my vest or brought my mini upstairs to the treadmill or
Mm.
something, so when we got out there, I had forgotten I don't love putting on my Body Glide before we get in the car because the parts of my legs that chafe are gonna touch the seat of the
Oh,
car,
yeah.
and that bothers me, or I'll do that, and then I'll forget to do my upper arms because I may have not have decided which shirt I'm gonna wear yet at that
Mhm.
point, so I can forget, like, a couple different places, but then usually I have my backup in my vest, so it's not a problem, or I have one in the car. Don't recommend in the full summer heat of Georgia, but, like, in the winter, it's fine, and yeah, like, I can think of multiple occasions recently where I've forgotten one spot and been like, "Oh, well, we're already out here, so it is what it is."
In that situation, I agree with you. I would not if I go home, I'm not going back out. Like, a couple weeks ago, I talked about how I didn't wanna go get my headphones from downstairs because if I got off the treadmill, I wasn't getting back on.
Yeah.
That is completely understandable because in my head, I'm imagining, like, I'm standing outside my garage. I realize, "Oh, dang, I did not body glide,
Mhm.
my pits." Like, I did not body glide my arms. I would march my little booty back inside and do it, but, like, if I drove somewhere and
Mhm.
I completely agree. I would probably just go, "Well, we're gonna
Yeah.
hope for the best here." But yeah, no, if I'm like, because for me, it would be just kind of being lazy.
Yeah. Mine is
For
fully driven by lazy bones energy. I can think of when we used to live in the apartment, we would always go for the same walk, bring Pepper and stuff. It was, like, not very far, less than 2 miles, and I tried many times. I love wearing my Birkenstocks. They are my go-to shoe. However, it is humid here, very humid, and I would chafe in my Birkenstocks
Oh,
from the, like, straps rubbing, and I still tried many times to be like, "Ah, it was a fluke." It was not a fluke, and kept doing it, and now to this day, when Ben asks if I wanna go on a walk with him and Pepper or to go see like, right now we go out most nights and see if there's new Halloween decorations up around the neighborhood or whatever, and I'll be like, "Do you think I can wear my Birkenstocks?" And he'll give me this look like, "Are you seriously asking me this after this many years of this experience?" And if it's we're only walking down one street, then he'll be like, "Yeah, I think you can," but, like, most of the time, it's the look of like, "Are you seriously asking me this again?" I never learn.
see, I sometimes don't have that problem because, like, in order for it to be make the spreadsheet, it has to have like a pair of shoes that like would make the spreadsheet on there of like
Mhm,
my like, because if it's not on the garment, it's not real. So it always has to be a pair of shoes that like would make it. So it's like, okay, I guess I have to put on have to put on a pair of running shoes so that they can count.
well,
Um,
so that's my whole thing is, like, usually when he asks, we're already downstairs. I don't wanna walk all the way upstairs and get socks so that I can put on tennis shoes.
oh, felt.
That's why I wanna wear my Birkenstocks.
Ah, okay, yeah, feel that though. Feel that. Speaking of shoes, would you risk it for the biscuit running through a questionable puddle mid race?
No. Even in that race for the alien half, when it downpoured, right? While it's downpouring, sure, I'm running through just about everything. Even then, when it was downpouring, I was still trying to sorta, like, do an extra long stride to, like, run over a giant stream of water that's coming down the road. And after it stopped raining so hard, I was still, like, veering around big puddles, even though my shoes were already wet and squishy. So, no.
It's not something I would intentionally do, and then when we say questionable, I mean, like, if it were a color that was not indicative of water, F no. But, like, I don't wanna know, but
Questionable for me was, like, do we know how deep it is?
Oh, yeah,
because
okay,
that's the first thing that comes to my mind after working in manufacturing. You're not supposed to step into anything, period. But also, like, then there's the second level of, like, can I see the bottom or not? If not, absolutely not. Do not step in it.
so that's like okay, so I'm glad that you, like, said that because my first thought was like, "Well, what if I don't know how deep it is?" Like, how big of a pothole you think you're gonna go to the center of the earth on, like, on Cone Alley right behind the Grand Floridian? But I'm glad because I was like, I was, like, trying to, like, battle the logic versus the, like, um, type of things, but can I say there's enough times that I've noticed and, like, I might have been able to veer, but it was, like, almost too late to do it, and
Mhm.
I've just been like, "All right," like, here's that water entering my foot, my shoe, but because also, like, sometimes it's like, if I'm gonna have to make a very sudden movement, like, what's the risk here? And I'm thinking more long runs or, like, whatnot, but yeah, ugh,
Mhm.
yeah. Ugh. Brings me back to that 2024 marathon of, just down Cone Alley, like, tried to avoid the puddle, because then, like, also you don't wanna step right in front of somebody else too. Because if you're not alone on a course, at certain points, I was like, this is I wouldn't say, like, a lost cause, but I was like, "Well, I'm soaking wet, I'm not about to hurt myself doing this, so
Yeah.
into the puddle we go." It do be that way.
Speaking of questionable water, it's not questionable, but, are you a rely on course water person, or are you absolutely bringing your own hydration? I feel like the Chicago of it all should make you feel a certain way.
Yeah, no, I so okay, to be fair, there's the distance aspect of things where
Mhm.
actually no, not there's not actually because I always bring water like because every Disney 5K, like, yes, do I sometimes drink it in the corral before I start? Yeah. So then I have like I can go recycle my water bottle or my little water bottle. Yeah. No, because then the one time I didn't bring my own water when I did the DLS in at springtime, stations were out. Um, so yeah, if I have the opportunity to bring my own water, absolutely I am bringing my own water.
Even for Chicago, you're still trying to figure out the logistics of carrying your own water.
I know.
And even for me, I feel the same way. I'm also like I do think there is a distance aspect. For me, a 5K, I'm probably not gonna bring water, even when we're doing chill vibes the whole way. Um, but for Tokyo, they have super strict rules about hydration. The only way you can get hydrate your own hydration onto the course with you, this is not counting, like, having your friends or family, whatever, hand it off to you, which is probably technically against the rules, but, like, I'm not going for prize money, I just don't wanna get DQ'd, um, is that you can have 2 containers. They have to be commercially available and sealed, either in a paper carton or an aluminum foil pouch, and they can be no larger than 250 milliliters each, and you can only have those 2, so you can bring a total of 500 milliliters of liquid with you on course. Otherwise, you must rely on the supplied hydration, which I'm terrified for. There is no workaround. There is no, "Oh, I put it in a handheld," like, everything is off limits.
That's fascinating. Oh boy. Um yeah, to me, especially if you're in a flexible race, like, why wouldn't you in a way? Cuz
Mhm.
okay, caveat being
Well, if you
I
didn't
also
train with it,
train
then
with it.
that might be
Yep.
why.
Yeah, I was like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute." And you got but, I train most runs in my hydration vest, period,
Mhm.
especially the longer ones because I wanna know what it feels like to have an extra boulder on my back,
Mhm.
of
Ooh, that was a fun race when I upgraded my vest to the vest we both have now, and it has a much larger bladder inside, and the first time I ran with it completely full for a training run, I was like, "Oh my goodness." I think I had almost an entire liter more in it, and
yeah.
that's 2.2 pounds, if you didn't know, of weight. and just that like, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot on your back.
Yeah. So that'll be good with Chicago. um, that'll be good for me, I guess, if I am used to running with.
You're gonna be used to more than you're gonna carry for Chicago, so it should be fine.
And I usually do put water bottles, even though I'm have my soft flasks are on the way. And hopefully here by the time you guys are hearing this, I am used to just running with water bottles in there,
Mhm.
so that'll be fine. I'm not really worried about that.
No, it'll be fine.
We kind of touched on this already, but would you risk it for the biscuit grabbing random snacks from spectators mid race?
If you had asked me before Disney, I would have told you no because I still have that, like, stranger danger thing drilled into
Oh
me
yeah,
from childhood of, like, do not take things from strangers, you do not know what is in that kind of thing. Um, and when I ran Chicago, I didn't take anything from any strangers, even though I definitely should have in the second half. Um, but when we ran Dopey last year, or, technically it's this year, but you know what I mean, last season, uh, during the marathon, that stretch right after you're leaving Hollywood Studios, there's so many people lined up by the Skyliner, and everyone had different things. I took Sour Patch Kids, I took M&Ms, I took, Twizzlers, I didn't take, but I had the opportunity, and I think I was just running too fast to process what was happening. Someone had, Uncrustables, so I almost took an Uncrustable, uh, and I don't know what it is about the magic of Disney that somehow feels less threatening that some random stranger might hand me a poisoned Sour Patch Kid, but I did, I took them, and I that's one of my best memories from that race, so I would definitely do that again. I still am questionable as to whether or not if I ran Chicago again, I don't know why I say if, we all know I'm gonna do it again at some point.
true.
Whether or not in Chicago I would take stuff from strangers, I s I don't know. I don't know. That still gives me a little I don't know because there's so many spectators out for Chicago
Hmm.
that to me, that's, like, a very questionable, so if I did, it would be like a split, like, what's it, it would be a last minute, like, spur of the
Split second.
moment
Yeah.
decision to do that.
Yeah, I can't say that I imagine myself taking things from strangers this
Yeah.
weekend.
Don't take the mystery shot of we all know it's Malort, but don't do it.
If I text you at mile 21 and be like, I just took some Malort, just know things are not going well. But it's funny because I think with like the Disney of it all, like I think probably there's, and maybe it is somewhat of a false sense of security, but you would
Mhm.
think that people who are along the lines for a Disney race and like there to spectate, like they're purposefully there to spectate. Like it's not like, I mean, either your day is being interrupted because you didn't know a marathon was coming through. Sorry. Um, you probably are not going near where we are, right? Like you are probably bolting around somewhere, like literally anywhere else, right? You're
Mhm.
not going to, versus like, I don't know, and like somebody who's having their day disrupted in like a major city. I mean, I feel like okay, I feel like you probably have to be living with your I mean, I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. Like you'd have to be living with your head under a rock to not know when the Chicago marathon's happening,
Yeah.
right? Or the New York City marathon, can't really speak to that, but you'd have to live under a rock. And like as KG said in Boston, for example, like people get hype for Marathon Monday,
Mhm.
right? Like it's for Patriots Day. So I feel like for the most part, like but there is a little bit more like of like infrastructure closed down in terms of like your norm like right for Disney, like the people who are being impacted, like trying to get to Magic Kingdom, there's a lot more traffic. They're on a bus. They're
Mhm.
not spectating on the side of the road annoyed.
Yeah. And the people camped out at Hollywood Studios, like, people bring camp chairs. They're
Mhm.
there. They mean business with their
Yes.
candy handouts or whatever.
Yeah, with their spectating and stuff. So, but yeah, I guess along the Disneyland course, there is somebody who's passing out red vines or someone who's passing out like Cokes. And but I mean like Coca-Cola.
Mhm.
Um, I still like if it was a random spectator, like if it was somebody from like Dopey Strong, for example, that I didn't know, it would be like that's like I still know you, right? Like,
Mhm.
that I would take. Like versus like somebody I didn't, I'd be like, yeah, like I don't know. I think I might be a little bit I mean,
I don't know, remember Kristen's friend? We were doing I don't remember if it was 5 or 10K, we were in Epcot doing a bathroom break, I think, or
oh
no,
yeah.
we were standing in line for a photo, and they were doing a bathroom break, and I tried to give one of Kristen's friends a hand warmer that I wasn't using anymore. It was still, like,
Mhm.
really hot, but I had plenty, I
Yeah.
was, like, overheating, and she was very much like, no, thank you," like, "No," and it took Kristen being like, "We know who this human is, it's not weird." She was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank goodness, thank you."
Yeah. That's interesting too though, because I feel like I will give though, right? Like how many
Mhm.
I've like given out my sport beans before when I like wasn't a fan of them. I've been people like, oh, I can't wait to get more of those beans. Like, you want mine? Like, I'll give you my stuff. Um, but
Hesitant to accept.
yeah, and it's not even that I'm like deeply suspicious of people around me, but I mean, I do like, like there are certain things that we as women have to worry about with running, but um I feel like in a way like it's almost like maybe it's just aloofness more than anything of like yes, you probably like if you wiggle like a red vine in my face, be like ooh candy. But like it's almost like kind of like I'm just kind of locked if I'm like locked in, I'm locked in. Type of thing, but yeah, like maybe it's a little bit more aloofness because, like, like I had no hesitation in giving somebody my cooling towel who had passed out on the course. I had
Mhm,
no hesitation in like giving here. Do you want the biofreeze in my pockets?
mhm.
Like I have no hesitation in giving. But sometimes like on the receiving end, maybe it's like aloofness. Maybe it's I don't know. Um, in a way. So I don't know. It depends. I but I'm gonna say put my like my like a not risking it for that biscuit.
Yeah, taking a page out of my book. Now, not pointing fingers or anything, but what about would you go for a PR in the middle of Dopey?
So
Hmm.
the fact that I didn't immediately say no to you.
I feel like this is like earlier, we all know what the answer is.
I mean, I feel like if first of all, there's going for PR during Dopey at all. Ha ha ha. Um, and originally I thought that I'd be like, well, like, what if you kind of just ripped the half? And I was like, and now I've thought about it a little more. I'm like, maybe not. But like going for the 10K or something like that. Like, it's been a while since I've raced a 10K. First of all, I because I thought about like the half during marathon weekend, especially like there's like, I mean, it's usually like that mental. It's a bit of a mental game. It's a little bit of a it just kind of is what it is. But and also there's just a lot more I feel like crowding because there's a lot more people in the boat of like we're taking this chill because we have the marathon tomorrow
Mhm,
versus during the 10K I feel like there's a lot of dopies, but like I feel like there is probably more of that like elbow room versus I feel like some of the worst course crowding I've ever experienced has been during the half during marathon weekend.
mhm,
um so but also it's been a long time since I've raced a 10K.
mhm.
Like since 2022, long time. So in terms of like the devil on my shoulder just says, well, Natalie, like, could you probably go for a PR and like race it and like still feel like you have like, you're probably at like an 8.5 out of 10 versus a 10 out of 10 because a lot has changed in your running since you've last tried to race a 10K? Yes. So, again, I have a marathon this weekend and we're going to see how recovery goes over the next like couple months and what happens whatever. So I'm not saying I'm going to do this during this dopey, absolutely not. But I'm not saying I never would if I felt like I just had the bones for like a ripper of a 10K. Cuz I mean, frankly like my PR like I I wasn't strength training when I said that for the 10K. Like I wasn't doing speed work. I wasn't strength training. We were living on a hope, a prayer, a dream. Beautiful naivety. So could I probably like smash that and like even not even smash it by that much? Like I'm not saying get a POT. I'm just saying like kind of get through it. I probably could. Oh my god, I feel like one of those dudes who's like, "Yeah, I could totally land a plane in an emergency situation."
If you've done it in the simulator enough,
No,
maybe
but,
you
like, I'm
can.
not like, I'm saying, like, as me. Like, I'm saying as me, like, bean counter extraordinaire who is, like, like, has had the wide-eyed, like, thousand-yard stare to the point where my husband's like, "It's too early for that." What about you?
No. No. Nope. Now that I've done Dopey one time, I feel more confident in the strategy I chose, which was my plan initially was I was going to walk the 5K, walk the 10K, but maybe run a few spots in between like characters. Um Potentially, which I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I ended up walking the entire thing. And then for the half, I was going to run walk, but run as slow as possible without worrying about getting swept.
Mhm,
Um, and then I would, run walk with it like intention, I guess, for the marathon. And I think that turned out really well. I was already having I felt really good at the end of the half, but I was already having issues with the soles of my feet hurting
mhm.
at the end of the half. And then when we ran the marathon, the soles of my feet were already hurting at mile 10. So that was not great. And I feel like I would never consider going for a PR because I don't need to add any more strain to what I mean, I trained really well. I ended up not being sore after the marathon, which was, I think, the biggest
Mhm,
show of the fact that I trained properly for that, even though the soles of my feet were hurting. The only thing I think I would do is stick to that original plan of doing some running in the 10K just so I'm on my feet for less time and maybe run a little bit faster in the half, just a little bit, again, to reduce the amount of time on my feet because I feel like that would have helped delay that. And also, I think my shoes for the marathon were very close to dead. So I should have thought about that maybe a little bit more, but I was having so many problems with blisters leading up to
mhm.
the to Dopey that I was just scared to try any new shoes that I wasn't going to have enough time to like break them in and feel confident running in them. So I chose less what I thought was the lesser of two evils, but I just cannot imagine trying to go for a PR in anything other than the marathon if I was going to go for something just cuz I just would worry that if even if I wanted to go for it, like, say, in the half, like you were saying at the beginning, that then I might get swept in the marathon, and I wouldn't wanna risk my dopey medal for
Mhm.
that. So
This is interesting because what I thought about while you were talking was it kind of depends on what you're planning for the rest. So
yeah.
if in any situation that I were to like be like I'm going for a ripper for the 10K, okay? I don't think it would be one where I'm just doing vibes for the marathon.
Mhm.
And maybe that is also like a like my perspective being like not only do I already have proof of time where I like start nice and, early, so I have buffer time, but I also know that like even on like a tough day, I've probably got like a good hour of cushion in a way. But yeah, there is the risk to like to that, but that would probably
Yeah.
be where I was trying to do like a the marathon was not like going to be a ripper. She says,
Mhm.
knowing that like you know how this would end. It would be like I'm going to try to PR my 10K. I'm going to PR my 10K. I'm going to take the half easy, and then I'm going to somehow try to be like racing the full because I'm dumb. Okay. But I've thought of like different races where I have like obviously not during Dopey, but I know that that first time I did a challenge, that I was like, I'm not racing the 10 where I set my 10K PR. Like, I'm not racing the 10K. And that changed so fast because then I was deluluing myself where I was like, it's probably better that I go out too fast for this race versus tomorrow during the half or I'll die. Um, and then I did set what my 10K PR still is. Where I ran faster for the 10K during springtime this year because I was doing DLS. Well, ran faster during the running parts versus them when I was like goofing around than I did during the 10 miler. So there's kind of like, it kind of depends. It's like within I don't know. You just have to know that like well, some people can, and that's awesome if you can like do a ripper for 2 days in a row, but I can't probably. Um, and I'm not willing to find out anytime soon. Um, but it would be like a time where I'm going for like a V chill marathon. Let us know what of these things you would risk for the biscuit, or also any other scenarios that you thought of. The more diabolical, the better. As I'm sitting
Yes.
here spiraling, like it's like kind of would you rather, kind of not. Like, uh, oh god, I just thought of like a terrible one. We'll
Maybe we'll
discuss
save it for
offline.
the Facebook group and then everyone can join us there to discuss.
Good idea. Good idea. It's pretty bad. So,
Oh.
Mr. Natalie, look away.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Natalie Has Taper Crazies.
Yes. Thank you for letting me keep you company as I contradict myself, blabber, spiral a little bit.
Woo!
If you enjoyed listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud. You might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Metal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. If you are running the Chicago Marathon, good luck, and I hope I see you there. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.